And welcome to the smAshlight section. This is the section where we talk about various things that may or may not have to do with space, a frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Earth, where people have an utterly infantile and ridiculous response to a virus. Would you like a shirt with this design on it? Well, pretty soon one will be available to you. We're looking at a price point of probably $25 plus shipping and handling. So congratulations on surviving a global pandemic. Your ancestors obviously did. And the farther you go back, the more likely it was for your ancestors to have survived a real cataclysmic event. By the way, look on the bright side, have hope, because next year's 2021, and it's not an election year in the U.S., which means media panic, sensationalism, and propaganda might just shrink down to nothing. Please consider becoming a patron, and thanks to our patrons, the real source of funding for these videos, as our Google AdSense payouts happen about every 4 months, and we make about 2 cents per hour to make the videos. We're also on SubscribeStars. Please visit the other links below the videos. Check out our places of websiting, such as smashomash.org, smashomash.com/forum. Smash staff, get the Amazon links. We really need them. We're trying to sell certain things. By the way, also follow us on Twitter, where I've put up a small early ad here. Would you like a t-shirt? Well, the prototype's been ordered. So Smasher Price My First Pandemic shirts will be available in a couple of weeks. Don't order yet. We're going to set up a website. We're going to set up a spot on the website for that specifically. Have you watched the Joe Rogan Experience featuring Peter Schiff? It's an over 3-hour conversation with a real economist, Peter Schiff. And his status as a real economist keeps him off of places like CNBC and other mainstream news sources, as he's not willing to lie and toe the corporate line or toe the bureaucratic line. Here's a clip.
I wish, we had the 4th of July just recently, and, we celebrate America. And I talked on my old podcast.
Anyway, I highly suggest you watch the entire thing all the way through, or listen to it. It's on iHeartRadio, and it's on Apple iTunes, and so on. This is the YouTube version. And Peter talks about all kinds of history of taxes, and going all the way back into the 1800s in some instances, and talking about the way forward, and how interest rates need to go up, and how the bubble economy needs to be deflated, and so on.
About what it means to be an American. And people just don't appreciate what truly America was all about.
So anyway, check that out. It's super informative, and it's going to completely change the political climate here in the U.S. as well as around the world, because, of course, Joe Rogan is probably the most famous podcaster in the world, and thank goodness for Peter Schiff coming on there. Peter Schiff puts out at least one podcast a week, usually on Wednesdays, I believe. Highly recommend you subscribe to his channel as well. He'll even answer your questions, perhaps in a live chat. Let's talk about how diversity is garbage, says this ex-Google employee. Here's a clip.
So somebody sent me the screenshot for an Oracle summer internship that lists a bunch of eligibility requirements.
Look at this pathetic Oracle eligibility slip. Eligibility requires you to be African American, Latino, Native American, and or women. That's blatant racism and sexism. Diversity, what a joke. I prefer to live in a meritocracy. What say you? And shout out to Patrick Hsu. Well done in exposing this nonsense for what it really is. Yada. By the way, we are streaming live to Twitch. If you haven't checked us out there, twitch.tv/smashomash. We put exclusive content on all of our different social medias. So please take a moment to press like and subscribe, and press that notification bell on YouTube. You may even get a notification when we put up a video. Who knows? It's possible. We're also on BitChute, and there is some exclusive content over there, such as this video entitled COVID-19, the disease caused by coronavirus cured via hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin. Also throw some zinc in there. Let's talk about our solar events logger on smashlight.com/forum. Moving back into space of Frontier. So we've put up this solar events logger, and it's because we're encouraging people to look into solar events, specific ones. So here's one, and we've only got one post in here because apparently nobody's particularly interested. Do you know of a solar event? Well, if so, listed here. It's smashlight.com/forum in the Sun forum under solar events logger. So what happened on June 6th? Well, this is what happened on June 6th. And if you're wondering what that is a proper Earth-facing coronal mass ejection, and you can see a large halo right at the beginning of it, coming out like this, an indication that it's moving directly toward the observer. And if you see that flashing, let me stop it on one of those frames. What that is that is protons striking the LASCO C3 coronagraph only a half hour after the coronal mass ejection occurred. And what does it all mean? It means it's cosmic ray flux coming directly out of the sun and striking the Earth. Now, this is what we call a proton event, and it takes about 8 minutes for light to get from the sun to the Earth. So if it took 30 minutes for those protons to arrive, those protons were traveling at approximately 1/4 the speed of light. Just in case you didn't know, now you know. So there's one solar event logged. Please update with your own solar events, as there are tons of them. And why are we talking about protons? Well, the reason we're talking about protons is because there's been a strong earthquake. A 7.0 has struck Papua New Guinea. More on this later in the earthquake section of the space weather video. No tsunami watches, warnings, or advisories were issued, and it was downgraded from a 7.3. About 72,000 people are within 100 kilometers of it, and there probably is a little bit of destruction there, as there are some non-earthquake ready buildings in that area. Let's talk about NBC News. Yada. Let's talk about CBS News. Yada yada. Let's not. Let's talk about China. 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 That virus is cheap plastic. It's made in China. I said you're cheap plastic. For you can take that. Let's talk about USA Today. Yada, yada, yada. Here's Morgan Freeman talking out his you-know-what, as people believe celebrities to be experts in science nowadays.
Met you. We don't go way back.
My mask protects you, and your mask protects me.
Maybe
from guess what? Nothing.
We did. But when you wear a mask, you have...
When you wear a mask, you look like complete COVIDIOTS. And well done, Jamie Foxx and Ellen Pompeo and Morgan Freeman.
Have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you.
Oh, check it out. This is from Governor Andrew Cuomo's YouTube page, the world's leading mass murderer, as he's turned New York into the worst spot in the whole world for coronavirus deaths. So, just to recap here, Andrew Cuomo, he said,
yada yada.
And Morgan Freeman, he said,
Yada yada yada.
And other celebrities said,
Yada yada.
And Governor Tom Wolf said,
Yada yada yada.
And former NCAA linebacker Dr. Rachel Levine said,
Yada yada.
Prompting Tom Wolf to say,
Yada yada yada.
Let's talk about black holes. In a first, astronomers watch a black hole's corona disappear and then reappear. Probably an indication of a bunch of gas dust or a star falling into the event horizon, as it's termed. Now, I prefer to refer to black holes as massive radio sources. So I try to not say black holes. And I wondered in the mid-90s why some people were calling black holes massive radio sources. It's because black holes probably don't exist. They're made of condensed matter just like stars. And anyway, the cause of the dramatic transformation is unclear, although the researchers guess that the source of the calamity may have been a star caught in the black hole's gravitational pull, possibly torn apart by tidal forces. I don't doubt the fact that that sort of thing can happen, as these objects are probably kind of massive, as they emit crazy amounts of X-rays and gamma rays and radio frequency and all kinds of things. So anyway, if you want to read this article, it's on phys.org in the Astronomy and Space section. And let's talk about the ESA's joint mission with NASA, featuring close-ups of the sun. You're going to hear all about campfires on the sun for some reason, which is just really... Anyway, the release that happened yesterday is essentially just sort of testing out all of the equipment, making sure that it's all working right. There are a lot of instruments on there, so have yourself a read on that if you like. The closest images ever taken of the sun from the solar orbiter were released yesterday at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time. Here's a clip. I don't know what it'll be. I'm going to take my chances. And full screen ain't working. Here's a clip.
Through space. And then in March 2022, we'll get into the full-blown science phase with unprecedented resolution.
So anyway, the instruments are not fully unfurled yet. If you want to read about it, you can read about it on nasa.gov/solar orbiter first flight. nasa.gov/solar orbiter first flight. If you're wondering where Comet Neowise is, there's also a way to check it out on. It's how-2-c-comet-neowise in the nasa.gov/feature section. Just after sunset, locate the Big Dipper. Look between the Big Dipper and the horizon. It'll be higher and higher up until July 23rd. So perhaps catch a glimpse of this, as it's not slated to come back for another 6,800 years. And thanks for tuning in to another smAshlight section of the Smash stream. And we thank you for your patronage.